That's true. But my question,
Then
uh,
first is, you see, Shreyo
my
hi jnanam
question,
abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate. So what we are saying is, what is the reason for dhyana? It is for
so,
realizing and receiving the knowledge, higher knowledge. So to receive that means you are more conducive to reception of knowledge by dhyana is what Krishna is saying.
so my
Because
question is,
yes,
dhyana
yes.
means meditation like here or dhyana of God Swarup itself?
Yes, becoming conscious, not just the kriya of meditating at one place. Like we saw, no, yesterday, there is something called dynamic meditation, where you are receptive to the, the consciousness which is there, omnipresent. So you are trying to receive from there. So better than doing any action mechanically is becoming conscious. Better than that is dhyana, because dhyana will make you more conscious. You will increase your capacity that way. But even if, like Krishna gives the simplest way also in the last, he says, even greater than all of this, which is most important, because
Oh,
sometimes people try to, receive more than what they can handle, or it's like you try to eat more than you can chew, something like that. That is like a balloon has a capacity of receiving this much air. Beyond it, the balloon is bursting. Something like that, like even Sri Aurobindo talked about the Adhar, or the vessel which is it should receive, it should be strong, then only you can receive. Otherwise, you see, man, some people getting lost intellectually and forgetting completely their connection with the world. And that is why here Krishna immediately tells the last part where he says, dhyanat karma phalat tyagat shantir anantaram. Means even greater than what is considered exalted is this getting or letting go of the fruits of actions, because fruits of actions will teach you the real meaning of tyaga. Means letting go of expectations of your actions will give you the real meaning of what is tyaga. And with tyaga you get shanti, which is the greatest satisfaction. Is that okay, Dr. Vimalji?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Hari Om. So I think we'll begin with the invocation. Again, like in aeroplane, air hostess says, "Kripya seat belt band lijiye," something like that. I will say, please turn on your video feeds. You can anytime pause me if you can. If you don't have to even ask for permission. So I hope everybody can turn on the video feeds. Let us begin. सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम. So if I'm not mistaken, we are going to continue with the 13th shloka of the 12th adhyay. Can someone recollect what is it that we have seen last? Anybody? Anything you can recollect from what we saw last? We were into the 12th adhyay, which is considered the kernel of Bhakti Yoga. What is the meaning of Bhakti? This is the chapter. Smallest but most powerful one also. Anybody?
Krishna is asking Arjuna to pray in three forms, like even as bhakti or uh, you know um, yeah.
It started probably with a question, isn't it, Priyanka ji? It started with a question of Arjuna.
Ye-
Who has
yes.
greater knowledge? The worshipper of the form or the worshipper of the formless? So yes, would you take ahead from what do you recollect from that? What was it that Krishna said?
Mm, yeah, so that's what he said, that you either you can take these forms of having trust in me, or having praying to me.
Okay, so the people who are worshipping the formless, they are on the wrong path. They are, what we can say, going to suffer because they are going on the wrong path. Is that what Krishna is saying?
No,
No, means even on the formless path also people can experience as long as their consciousness is in the, let's say, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. When somebody is trying to be for the betterment of the world, he's trying to, connect with higher consciousness. That was one thing. But there was something very subtle also. Means it's like Krishna is not rejecting any path. Like from the beginning, he has said, everybody Shraddha, you have the right to choose. You worship the form or worship the formless. But he says this road, kleshodhikarastesham, this is something. There's a little bit of difficulty, is what Krishna says, because avyakta sakta chetasam, because we belong to the form. So directly with the form trying to completely directly dissolve into the formless, well, that's quite difficult. So sometimes it is better to walk through the path of the form only. Maybe from there you go to the, from the Sagun, you can reach the Nirgun also afterwards. Then the Sagun Sakar will help you connect with the Nirgun Nirakar later on as your consciousness rises. Directly going to that place can be difficult. It could be a bumpy ride, but Krishna doesn't say it is not possible. So the same aspect which should connect you or which can fuel your sadhana, whether you are worshipping the form or the formless, is again what we talked about, Loka Sangraha, which was already told, betterment of the world. Here also the word Suharva Bhuta Hite Rataha was shared. So that was one thing. And yes, anybody would like to continue from there? Anybody? Yes, please. Krishna offered some ways, isn't it, of how to raise consciousness, or which is the way? How can you go to that high state? Anybody?
By whatever
Maintaining the
activities. Sorry.
Priyanka ji, and then I'll come to Hema ji. Yes, Priyanka ji, probably
Like
after. Yes.
whatever activities we do, we uh, do it for him.
Okay, that
Whatever.
was one of the ways. Whatever action that we do it for the divine. Okay. Yes. All right. Hema ji, would you like to share? Yes, ma'am.
No, he says different ways of meditation or focusing on him
Yes.
and make him the focus of life. Then it becomes easy for
yes.
him to
Yes. Mai eva
carry
mana,
on.
mana adatsva, mai buddhim niveshaya.
Yeah.
Mana, your buddhi, everything has to become one. And then there is no
Focus
doubt
on him.
you will reach that highest state when I am your central focus of at all times. But that was difficult. And everybody
Very
finds it
difficult. So
difficult.
he says, make all your work as mine, in the sense, surrender to me.
Okay.
Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. So that
Okay.
everything, and don't worry about the results.
Okay. All right. So that was the option. Yes, yes. If we just go from shloka 8, 9, 10, and 11, very nicely Krishna is saying, if not this option, not this,
Yeah,
another.
he gives various options.
Yes, yes, ma'am. All right. So first one is, first up, we'll just look at the options again and we'll go ahead. So if you see, first one is at all times, like think of Meera. How was she? Always Krishna only, wherever she went, whatever, at all moments. There was not one time, not one moment where she was away from Krishna. Or just as how Radha was. Now Radha Rani, why do they say that? Radha Rani, because she has raised that her consciousness to that level. At all times, there was nothing. There was no difference. What we say, ekam eva dvitiyam. That statement, that difference of consciousness has ceased. So that is one way. But now that becomes difficult. Difficult to raise your consciousness at all times. How do we do that? It's like telling somebody, don't get angry. When I was going on the, like I had booked a cab to Chennai from Pondicherry. The driver was around my age only. So we were having a nice discussion. He said, I'm having a problem. Every time I get very, very angry with people and I fight and I have really broken up with a lot of people because of my anger. So he asked, "What do I want a solution from you." I said, "Don't get angry." He started laughing. That I understand, but how do I not get angry? Because it happens naturally. It is something like that. Consciousness. We all want high consciousness. We want to remain in that blissful state, but things happen in life which disturb us from that state. So how do we go there? Krishna says, Arjuna, if you are not capable, keep your mind firm and stable. Practice yoga, yoga, yoga. That is the only way. Means Krishna has talked about dhyana, becoming quiet, becoming peaceful on the inside. Make that consciousness sustainable. So somebody who has anybody got a practice of meditation? If yes, can someone share what practice you've got in meditation? Yes, Hemaji. Yes, madam.
Yes, I do meditation every day. The only thing is, initially it was very difficult.
Okay.
The entire world's problem, as though it was mine, it used to keep coming. And like somebody said, you are worried, suddenly have you switched off the stove? Is somebody out there? All those things. But slowly it takes time. But it is at the end of so many years of meditation, I have become very calm. I used to get agitated, not that I was getting angry and shouting at people or anything.
But on the inside.
I was going through a very difficult time. I was actually very angry with Krishna.
Okay.
I used to fight. I said, there is no Krishna. Everything is gone. 5 years I was like that. Because I had gone through such difficult time.
Yes.
I used to be very pious and from childhood, I used to pray a lot and never ask for anything. Continue. But when I went through that, I said, how could he take away everything from me? And 5 years, I refused to light a lamp. I refused to do everything. I am a Reiki healer. I could heal myself. Everything I stopped. I said, life goes on. Slowly, I got into one of my neighbor who got me into this and meditation and all. And now, I mean, like everything is Krishna.
Okay. So again,
I have complete, and somebody taught me painting, and what all I have painted, you will refuse to believe. Everything to do with gods, everything to do with Krishna.
Okay.
How it happened, I myself don't know.
You don't know.
So,
but you feel dhyana helped you to, control your thoughts.
I have become very calm. I take everything as it comes.
Okay. So
that meditation is powerful too.
Yes. Meditation is a powerful tool. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing from your lived experience.
I kind of...
No. Most welcome. This is what we want, actually. This is what helps us. And it is your personal experience, a lived experience, which is very, very genuine. Absolutely. So as we see, that is possible. Possible to change our natures also. There is transformation. Complete transformation can take place through dhyana. But the problem is sitting in one place for dhyana, isn't it? Initially, how do you sit? Mind, as Krishna was telling to Arjuna first, Arjuna replied, Chanchala hi mana Krishna. What are you saying? Mind is like a flame in a windless place. A yogi's mind. He says, my mind is the wind. Now how will you control it? Is what Arjuna asked Krishna. So then Krishna says, Abhyasa, practice. But then there are some who say, I don't want to meditate. I can't. Well, Krishna is the Yogeshwara. He will make everybody walk on the path of yoga, whether they are conscious or unconscious. Well, next part. Next part is this. Krishna says here, Abhyasepi asamarthosi. It's all right. It's like a teacher saying, it's okay, don't want to study. Still, you can still clear the exam without studying. But what is the way? Then Krishna says here, he says, if yoga too you can't partake, then perform all your actions for my sake. Meaning, have a love for the divine. If you can cultivate that, means there is nothing more powerful than love. Love is this beautiful human emotion which has the power of catalyzing your evolution. It can raise. This is what the mother talked about when she talked about love. It can make you do wonders. So at least have a love for the divine. Feel that. Let it flow naturally. In that case, what will happen? All your works, everything belongs to the divine. Nothing is mine. As I think Madam said, Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Oh, there's a beautiful mantra. Vadiyam vastu govindam tubhyameva samarpayet. This is yours. Tera tujhko arpan kya lage mera. Everything is yours. I have got this life as a grace from you. What more can I ask? And what more can I give? Can a child tell mother or father that, yes, you have raised me so much, so here is my check. I am paying you for all the works that you have done for me. One thing is the parent will give a tight slap to the child, and then next the parent will say it is not returnable. It is something which is too precious to be returned. So that is the simple aspect. So here Krishna is saying, let all your actions be mine. Meaning, make an affidavit, as we just in a lighter note we talked about. Make an affidavit that everything belongs to Krishna in my life right now. And if you do it to the spirit properly, You're probably already on the path. Isn't this what the Isha Upanishad also begins? Isha Upanishad is considered to be one of the very deep Upanishads which talks about Vidya, Avidya. It goes on to an ultimate realization of Soham Asmi is the final Sakshatkar, which the yogi says is my claim. It is the right, oh God, you have to give that. And he has raised his consciousness in that Upanishad to receive it also. But that also begins with the first shloka. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्यां जगत्तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा गृध कस्यचित् धनम. Just don't be a thief, don't steal wealth that is not yours. Recognize the true owner. Well, that is one way. So this is one thing. With love for the divine, you can probably easily move ahead. But my question is, can you tell someone, love this person or love this God? Can we tell this? Can one person go and say, love me because I like you, I love you, so you must love me in return because this is, is it a business deal? Can we do that? So bhakti has to flow, isn't it? Naturally. It cannot be artificially induced. So then this also becomes a problem. All right. Some people have great intellect. We can say unbelievable. They have like what photographic memory. They're able to understand things just like that. They're able to, go deep into the kshetra of jnana. But without bhakti, it is still dry. It is still dry. It is like you have the beautiful plant which gives wonderful rose, but the soil is not moist at all. It is completely shushka or dry. That is what knowledge is without this love, without bhakti. So then what do we do in this case? At least because at least through intellect they try to understand, isn't it? So but intellect also you can slowly train. So Krishna says, even if that is not possible, I'm asking you only one thing. What is he asking? He says, Athaitadapi asaktosi kartum madhyogam ashritah sarva karma phalat tyagam tatah kuru yadatmavan sarva karma phalat tyaga. Just like I said, I appear like a thief in front of you with a knife or a gun in my hand and I say, give me Eiffel Tower, then only I will let you pass. What will you say? Take it, take Taj Mahal, take everything else also you want. All the wonders are yours. Let me move, isn't it? Well, this we should at least understand that our attachment to the fruits is our biggest hurdle in raising our consciousness. Let go of this is what Krishna is saying. Even if you're not able to practice dhyana, you're not able to feel that bhakti, because some people it feels so much that their love starts overflowing, and some people feel, what is this? I am not feeling that also. What is the matter? Am I dry on the inside? What is wrong? How do I get this? Well, all these things happen naturally. It is a growth, it is a phase. Everybody goes through. I think Madam shared her experience. For 5 years ago, she had a fight with Krishna. And after 5 years, again, there is this just change. These are all what we can say. Life goes through different phases. But here, this much at least, the minimum, this what Krishna is asking is not for him. It is for us, for our growth. Let go is what Krishna is saying. Fruits of actions. I don't do a particular. Do you talk to your friends because you get something in return from your friends? Every action that you do. Yes? Or your loved ones. Mother makes chapatis or parathas or sadam or rice for the child and says, I have given this rice today. After 20 years, I'm going to reap the benefits of giving this. No, it's not. It is not at all. It's forgotten. It is just like nothing. It's like swaha when you do an action. Nothing in return. Agneya swaha, agneya idannamama, as the Agnihotra mantra goes. Well, it is something like that. Krishna is saying, become conscious. You never have the fruits of your actions in your hand. So stop holding on to it. It is anyway going to go out of your hand. No fruit is in your hand and let it fall. Then you may be like Newton, it will fall on your head only. You will get a realization. Who knows? But you don't go after it. Don't go running after it, is what Krishna is saying. And here, the next shloka, he explains again. That is what we already saw. Dr. Vimalji had asked about it. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasad. So first thing is better than, see, it is better than doing any action mechanically is understanding why it is done. Because that man is doing, so I am doing this. This is what they call herd mentality, isn't it? If the sheep go, they follow the sheep in front when the herd of sheep move. Even if the shepherd is going to cut the sheep, they will not understand it because they are just following because this person has done. They all follow. They are not that way conscious at all. So, better than doing any action mechanically is to understand, become conscious, and do it, because it is better knowing than being naive. But better than knowledge is meditation also, because you go into dhyana, receive more knowledge. Krishna is not saying this is bad, but he's saying learn. If you like, for example, a student, if a student is already very knowledgeable and wants to learn more, well, first thing is let the student go into a state of consciousness where he's more receptive, and nothing more than dhyana can help to become more conscious. So Krishna says that. But then, even more exalted than this is the simplest action. Simplest action. What is it? Sarva karma phala tyaga. This is the greatest, is what Krishna says. If you can let go. And just imagine in your life, if you take out this, if you just take out this expectation of karma phala, I want my lover to be this way, I want my friend to be this way, I want my son, I want my daughter to be this way. This is the greatest source of trouble, because nobody is going to be custom made. No, you're not going and ordering something in a restaurant. I want this with little more toppings. You can't ask people to behave this way. People are all individuals. They will walk their own path, they will walk their own way. You can probably want something good, but you can't force somebody to take it. No, even the best advice can fall on deaf ears if the person doesn't want to listen. So you cannot have this what we can say insecurity. If you just let go, just see how life can become absolutely free. Just free, because you are doing your karma. Mam phaleshu kadachanam is what Krishna told in the very start as the way of karma yoga when he introduced. The same thing even in 12th Adhyay we are seeing. Even after the Vishwarupa Darshana, Krishna is consistent on the same principle, and he is calling this the highest principle even after talking about Raja Vidya, talking about great other ways, great occult paths, everything. He talked about how yogis are even conscious of their journeys they have raised. We talked about Muni, we have talked about so many we saw the greatest vibhutis. He gave Janaka Raja example, so many examples, and still coming back to the basic, because sometimes the basic is most important. And if a student is a master of the basic, he can challenge even the master. So here the basic is Mam Phaleshu Kadachanam. But that doesn't mean ma karma. Karma has to be done. So karma phala tyaga, a lot of people get very, they make it karma tyaga only. That's not what is Krishna's advice. That's easy. That is for the lazy mind. It is very easy to do karma tyaga, but it's very difficult to do karma phala tyaga, the fruits of actions. That's what Krishna is talking about. And let us continue. We go into the 13th shloka. Krishna goes on. He says, अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखः सुखक्षमी. Be devoid of envy and hold compassion and friendship, experiencing towards all beings a loving kinship, tolerant and poised in both comfort and hardship, bereft of ego and its feeling of ownership. So first one is Adveshta. This is something we saw in the Vishwarupa Darshana. The Ghor Ugra Rupa only was telling Arjuna, don't have any hatred for anybody and become my instrument. Because simple, in a heart that houses hatred, can Krishna stay in that heart? No, he runs away. He runs away very quickly. So it is a difficult aspect. Why they call him Ranchod is he runs very quickly. So if we want Krishna to be in our heart, first thing is we have to have no hatred inside. There the divine cannot function. Where there is hatred, that place is not going to be divine at all. And if you look at in your life, any moments do we consider them special where we were recipients of hate? Nobody considers it special at all. We don't like that. Then if we don't like receiving hate, why should we generate hate at all? So first thing is this, hold compassion and friendship. So this person is having friendship towards whom? Towards all living beings, one loving kinship. Vishwamitra, Rishi's name is there, and that name is perfectly, symbolized by a person who is following the path. He has no enemies. Normally, a yogi is somebody who is walking on his path. Nobody's ego is going to get pricked by this person, because this person is like a ghost. It's like this person is just going to move around. That aspect, no ahankar is there inside of that person. He is poised, he is calm, he's not trying to hurt anyone for no reason, bereft of ego and the feeling of ownership. So both of these are not there inside of that person. Krishna is saying what he is giving is a very difficult aspect to practically materialize in life. But if you can, would it be nice if say we are in an apartment system or in a society and you have no enemies in that society? Wouldn't that be a beautiful life? And my question is it possible? Is it possible? Because everybody has come to the society to become our enemies only. Is it that is why they have come? Or how is it? Is it possible to realize in a system where you are working on your path, you are not trying to, you're not having this ahankar, I am the owner of such place, I have so much power, I have so much adhikar. Most of the times ego clashes happen when both sides are in the fight, isn't it? It's said sometimes when two people are fighting, both are wrong. When you go from a higher consciousness, you are able to see. And this yogi is someone who has now risen to that point where he is not getting upset, comfort or hardship, connected only with truth consciousness, nothing more than that. So that person, insult, what praise, all becomes quiet. He's able to align with that consciousness. That's what Krishna is talking about. That person is, who is he? Well, Krishna is now describing all devotees who are dear to him. Means it will start from 14th shloka onwards. This adhyay is going to describe who is dear to Krishna. If you want to study Bhagavad Gita and if you want to look at a motivation for studying the Gita, I don't think there is a greater motivation than finding the secret how to become dear to Krishna. Because in your dear to Krishna, then you will get the experience what all bhaktas have experienced. Prabhu ko niyam badalte dekha. There's a beautiful bhajan by Anup Jalota, which is about this, ki how different places. And this is an experience. A lot of people have experienced how God has bent the rules for me. Well, let us see. 14th shloka onwards, it is the way of the bhakta, the way of, this is why it is called such an important chapter of Bhakti Yoga. Let us see all those shlokas one by one. संतुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढ़ निश्चयः मयि अर्पित मनो बुद्धिर यो मद्भक्त समे प्रियः. So santushtah satatam yogi, at all times you see a smile. I think many saints, if we know in life, or vibhutis, whomever we go visit, you will always see a beautiful smile on their face at all times. Somebody was not saying, what is this person mad? Why is this person smiling all the time? But no, the person is in a different consciousness. He's experiencing certain things. It is the ananda. That ananda is there, and that is in the yogis. Krishna is saying, that soul who remains ever in contented happiness, always practicing yoga with a steady firmness. He who has surrendered to me his mind and intellect, dear to me, that devotee you shall find. Find that person very dear to me. Means Krishna wants cheerful sadhaks, isn't it? If you see, Sri Aurobindo has written an Upanishad where he calls the last part of the Upanishad, which says, Anandam hi pravakshami bhagavatadishtaha. Means the last message is Anandam only is what I am saying with the direction of the divine. Tamasam apavritya prakashastu anandasya putra. Oh, children of Ananda, spread this Ananda in this world, set it alight. Means when you connect with the higher consciousness, you are going to become a torchbearer of that light, and that Ananda must manifest in your life. It is what we can say, it is a direct consequence of a realization. And that is why a yogi, it is like, there is so many states, like Ramta Jogi Behta Pani. Nobody can stop, because the yogi is in that consciousness completely. Always in that state of ananda. Whether things are mana, apamana, both are not disturbing the state of mind. That is what Krishna is talking about. And why? Because he has surrendered to the divine. So he understands, means he is able to see that swear word also is coming from Krishna only. It is from the divine that is coming from somebody else in another form. So this is not disturbing. It's like, oops, maybe I need to course correct. I got a lesson from here. I need to learn. We must understand that. And always practicing yoga, surrendering both intellect and mind. Mana also, buddhi also. This is important. Means it's a complete surrender, what we say. That person is very dear to me, is what Krishna is saying. So this is number one. If you can surrender to the divine, Sri Aurobindo had even joked once. He had said this: I have asked them to surrender their mind, not their common sense. Because in the name of surrender, people were doing a lot of funny things. So we have to understand surrender. And that is number one. If you see who is a bhakta, greatest exalted bhakta, whom Krishna says, Mad bhakta same priya, who has understood the meaning of surrender, surrender to the divine, and who is also having ananda at all times in their life. Jako rakhe saya mar sake na koi. So clear it is. When the divine is there, if God be for us, who can be against us, is the simple statement. Where a person is conscious that now I don't need to worry about my life. Yoga kshemam vaham yaham is the promise of Krishna himself. So let us continue. Yasman no dvijate loko, loka no dvijate cha yaha, harsha marsha bhayodvegair mukto yaha sacha me priyaha. Krishna says, he who by the world's chaos remains unperturbed, nor can the world by him in any way be disturbed. From pleasure, anger, fear, and anxiety, he who is free, such a soul is dear to me. So, you see, the person is not getting disturbed by the chaos which is happening in the world also. Means even if there is like, it is again said, mast raho masti mein, aag lage basti mein. That is a statement. Means it, if you look at the meaning, it is about that consciousness. And I think we all got an experience, isn't it? When there was this COVID pandemic, outside there's a great chaos. And only we are all inside of the homes, all do sadhana, become detached from what's happening outside. Nobody had an idea what's going to happen. Rich, poor, what we can say, those who were very strong, who were very weak, every single person. It was a very crazy experience. I remember a very friend of mine who lived in the village. That person, his close friend developed black fungus, and he passed away because during the COVID due to some side effects which took place. But it was everybody was shocked. How can such a healthy person, so strong person, suffer? No, we had a very weird experience, whatever it was. The entire humanity went through. Well, but we did see possibility, isn't it? We saw the light. We saw the light even in the worst moment. There is a chaos on the outside, and still we were trying to find some inner peace to come to terms with it. Well, what else is sadhana? Krishna is talking about something very similar. Even if the chaos is there on the outside, the person is calm and peaceful on the inside. Anybody from the physics side, can you tell me what is the velocity in the center of the storm? Eye of the storm that they say. What is the velocity? The storm that is raging at several hundreds of kilometers per hour speed. For that storm to be stable, means if the storm also has to do its karma, what is required? Anybody? The center, eye of the storm, what is the velocity? What is the velocity? Anyone?
I'm not from the science field, but it is zero.
Yeah, it is as close to zero as possible. Means it has to be as minimal. It has to end. The more closer to zero, the more stable the storm is. So if we can learn from the storm that even if it has to do a karma of destruction, it's still having great peace on the inside, meaning how important it is. A yogi must understand it. Krishna is saying this person is calm on the inside, even if there is chaos on the outside. So many things are happening against your will, so many things are happening to disturb you, but your core is not getting disturbed. That is the yogi Krishna is saying, whom he considers a real one, dear to him. He says such a person. Nor can the world, second part is, nor can the world be by him in any way be disturbed. So this person walks around also in that same consciousness. He doesn't create a disturbance. Means one side, the world is not disturbing him, and he also is not disturbing the world. Meaning sometimes we have some relatives who come home, isn't it? It looks like they have brought a big tufan only. They have come and there's a great disturbance. And then there are some people who come and go. You don't even realize when did this person go, because that person is not creating a disturbance in the consciousness, and that is how a yogi is. A yogi is very conscious of his movement and his presence. It doesn't create a ripple in another person's consciousness. There was a great sadhak in Pondicherry. His name was MP Panditji. And his student, who is now very senior, he gives a lot of talks. Shraddhalu Ranade ji also. How he, when he would walk around the room where his guru would be sitting, he would say, I would not want to, even while walking, I didn't want to create a disturbance in the thoughts which he was receiving. He was in a state of consciousness and receiving those thoughts which he would pen down. He's written some beautiful books, MP Panditji's, about like pitfalls in sadhana, yoga for the modern man, so many such books on the light of Sri Aurobindo's teachings. But look at the Shishya. The Shishya is not wanting to create a disturbance. And now, isn't that what Krishna is also talking about? A person who doesn't cause disturbance to the world from pleasure, anger, fear, and anxiety. He who is free, such a soul, is dear to me. So, no fear, no anger, no anxiety. Simplest way, if you have full faith in the divine, nothing of this will manifest inside of you. His ship was sinking, everybody was running in panic here and there. That time, one boy's father says, Beta, wait here. I will come after some time and I will rescue you. That's all he has told. So this boy is waiting in that sinking ship in one place without the slightest fear, and he's just watching like a movie, watching everybody run around. The captain of the ship suddenly comes and sees at least this boy is standing in the right place, but he's surprised. He goes and asks this child, are you not afraid? Look, everybody, even the adults are running and this ship is sinking. Why are you so calm and peaceful? I'm not able to understand. In a hurry, the captain asks, and he says, no, no, my father is going to come. So that is a Shraddha. So much Shraddha is so clear. And his father did come and rescue him, and that was good. Otherwise, in a panic state, if he ran else in a wrong direction, what would have happened to him? He would have gone into more trouble only. So this is what we should understand. Let the divine function for the divine to function. We cannot have anxiety. We cannot have fear. We cannot have anger. And Krishna says, somebody who is free of all of this is dear to me. Shloka number 15. Next, shloka number 16. अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथा सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्त समे प्रियः. Expecting nothing, he is pure and perfect in every action. Absolutely no expectations from anybody, even from the divine. That is the state of that yogi. He is not sitting and crying, I want this, give me this, give me that. No, absolutely. Tadiyam vastu govindam tubhyam eva samarpayat, and it is nothing. I don't want anything from you. I just want to serve you. Give me the opportunity to serve. Whenever it comes, I will be happy. That's what Krishna is talking about. Expecting nothing, he is pure and perfect in every action. Many times, if your actions are not, governed with expectations, they become more pure. They become better. They become more perfect because your mind's agitation does not disturb. I think we had Himaji talking about a painting. Her like that as a sadhana. If you see painting also, if you are having too many thoughts, you cannot do the right painting. Also, your brush strokes will get affected by your thoughts. So every action that you do is going to get affected by your thoughts. And this yogi is having no expectation. So it's pure and perfect in all actions. And is free from the pains of worry and agitation. When he's free, no worry, no agitation, both. For every work begun, the ownership he forgoes. To me, such a devotee is dear and close. So Krishna is saying, the ownership, what we say, proprietorship, I am doing this, I am doing that, I am so and so, I am the alpha and omega of this organization. This organization runs because of me. So many people feel like this. And suddenly life gives them a very strange experience. For some reason, they have to go out of that organization for a short period and they see somebody else doing it better. And then it becomes more disturbing because I am the best, but I am not. That realization again creates a disturbance. Instead, here Krishna is saying, just every ownership is, he's just letting go for every work begun. Such a devotee is dear and close. My question is then, will this person be a jobless person? No ownership for beginning. Sarvarambha parityagi is like, no, no, Krishna will start. I'll not do anything. So, will this not make a person jobless? Because I've seen a lot of people, unfortunately, some senior sadhaks also, they say, Mataji karegi kam, as if they want God to come and do the labor, and I have to do nothing. God will do everything. And so, we have duties also, isn't it? So, how do we reconcile with this statement? Sarvarambha parityagi. A lazy person will use this as a chance to become jobless. Krishna has told, don't start anything. So I'll not start any work. How do we reconcile with this? Sarvarambha parityagi. Krishna is saying he is dear, so we are interested in that. But how? How? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I think it's a let go of ego, or I am the one doing it.
Yeah, letting go of that.
Let go. You let go of ownership that I am not doing it. I am doing it for Krishna. Krishna is doing it ultimately.
Krishna is doing it through me.
To
So
me,
I
yes.
am not
I'm
important. I am
nimitta, yes.
absolute. Yes, nimitta matra, as Krishna says. This is a duty. I do my duty, but it's not because of me that the duty is getting executed. And you just watch when you do such actions, when you are not doing everything according to your mind, you become a little bit more free. You don't get exhausted also because your energies don't go waste there. I've seen people who are very, very busy, and especially my teacher, Namleji. Now, sir is 76 years. And if you see, normally people say now this is the age to sit with grandchildren and, retired life. Nobody should think about, you should now work hard all your life. Now you sit in one place and enjoy. No, even now, difficulties come, physical health, everything, keeping that aside, he is not leaving that loka sangra. And it's like he's willing for a new project at any time. At 75, he wrote his first book for children, and that book again, learning through nature, it's really gone very well to so many schools, the other projects, everything. And if you ask him, he says change of work is rest. So he's ready at 11 p.m. in the night for a meeting, he's ready at 3 a.m. in the morning for a meeting. And he doesn't, and he has started everything. Means now, you see, he started the Midam Charitable Trust, but in all his works, his name is not there. He doesn't put his name in the front. He allows people to, just go ahead, do your work. So everything is originated. He is the origin, according to us, but according to him, he says, I am not the origin. And he moves away from it. And probably he says that is the simplest way. You allow the divine to function. You don't start taking credit. How much credit you are going to eat? And why are you going to take all of this? And this, I think, we see a lot of great people also follow, isn't it? Dr. Abdul Kalam shared his experience also when he was young and budding scientist. So when there was a failure, the supervisor came forward and he said, I am take responsibility for this, so that he got shielded. And when it was a success, the supervisor immediately moved behind and he said, let him enjoy. And this is exactly what we should understand. Sarvarambha parityagi is don't think you are the initiator. Don't think you are alone the one who is beginning and doing everything. My question is, can you do efficiently without thinking you are doing the work? That's the last aspect. I only am doing it. This because people say it is important. You need to have this force, like a rigid force from the inside. Only then the work will go. अगर मैंने नहीं काम किया तो काम होगा ही नहीं. This is the feeling which people have. But can anybody do it without this ahankar and ego to start off the works? Can any work be done without this, which and still be effective also? Because organizations, CEOs say, I run the organization and I am responsible. Otherwise, this organization will not run. What happens afterwards then? When the CEO is gone, organization falls. How long? As long as that person has energy inside. Otherwise, but then we have seen, anybody has heard of Ramakrishna Mission? Was it started by Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa? Or it was started by Swami Vivekananda, his Shishya only, isn't it? And his Shishya wanted to start in his name of a guru, of his guru only. And is Swami Vivekananda still running the mission every day, his office activities right now? No, but still his consciousness is there, his vision is there, and he is taking forward the same aspect. And so many people are coming, youngsters even today, from the best of best institutes, most intellectual youngsters also, their doubts are getting answered and they are going ahead on the path. Why? Because it's a divine aspect, a divine link is established, and then there are actions which will go on, which will be eternal also. There are certain things in the world, what we call Sanatan, so that we must align with that consciousness. That's all Krishna is talking about. Somebody who has understood this secret stops getting fussy over everything with a myopic view and recognizes I am not the ownership. I am not taking the ownership of it. Because if you understand, you become humble when you understand you are dependent on so many. Like right now, we are having a discussion with all of us. Who is using their telepathic powers to understand each other? Or we are using what we can say, the sacrifice of so many scientists who have made possible for us to communicate with each other, sitting in different places of the world. So naturally, can we say, no, no, I am only responsible. I have so much power that I can talk to so many people. No, it's not. When you recognize that there are so many things at play in the world, you lose that state of ahankar only completely. That's what Krishna is talking about here. Nothing, expecting nothing, pure and perfect in all action, free of worry, free from agitation. This person who forgoes ownership also, he is very dear to me, is what Krishna says. Shloka number 16. Then we go to shloka number 17. यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न कांक्षति शुभाशुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः समे प्रियः. This is even more beautiful. He neither rejoices nor rejects, neither grieves over nor desires material objects, to whom both auspicious and inauspicious are the same. That devotee as dear to me I acclaim. So he is neither rejoicing nor rejecting. This is so clear, it's so beautiful. One is you rejoice, suddenly something happens according to your wish, you start celebrating. If something goes against you, start hating it and you start rejecting it vehemently. But a yogi is in that balance. If you once, like Damleji had a student from the ashram who worked for him, I think more than 10 years. I'm not able to exactly recollect right now how many years. It was before I joined him. And this person worked for so many years, and suddenly one fine day he said, I'm leaving. It was such a big shock for so many people because everybody had known how he was trained from scratch and everything. And that one senior sadhika was there, Kusum, and she came in the rain and she caught an auto just to come and see Damleji, how is everything. One more senior person who was very close to Damleji, Vijay Bhai, he came and asked him, Ki, how are you dealing with this? How are you dealing with this? And he gave a simple answer. माने माने मुझे बिन मांगे दे दिया, बिन बताए ले लिया. Means I did not ask, and mother gave me one wonderful person, and the person whom she gave me, she took without asking me. So what should I do? Yeah, everybody was like, wow, what a approach. How that is an approach of complete balance. And that's what Krishna is saying. Neither rejoicing nor rejecting. Neither grieving. What does grieving do actually? Can you what you have lost? Will grieving ensure it comes back to you? Nothing is going to happen. Grieving will not. Not desiring also. No, no, I want, even if you say, I want wealth, I want wealth, I want wealth, it will not come that way. No. If people have, some people try to say this is the way you manage, it's only going to make you crazy. If you keep thinking everywhere that your thoughts are so powerful that they're going to only attract, there are that way, then so many thoughts are there. Which thoughts, every thought is going to manifest, it will become troublesome, isn't it? So here, neither rejecting nor grieving to someone who's both auspicious and inauspicious are one. Means what is auspicious, what is inauspicious? Can we say Krishna don't function right now? It is Rahu Kal. According to this particular graha uses bad time going on. Already we know Krishna, your Rashi is also Rishabh Rashi only. So for your Rashi, this is not a good Kal to manifest your divine will. Can we tell that to the divine? because the divine is higher than all of these. What we can, we're not anyway mocking the science. Jyotish Shastra is a Shastra, definitely. A great Jyotishi can not only identify, he can identify what colored drink you are taking, also looking at the perfect grahas and everything, if he does the proper study. So we're not mocking the Jyotish Shastra. But what we are saying is, Shubha Shubha, are we going to get trapped to prevent the divine will? If divine wants a manifestation to happen at a particular time, will we say no? Because I am attached to this particular moment, I will not allow this to happen right now. Are we going to come in between? We have seen the force of the divine in the Vishwarupa, isn't it? Can we come in between the divine's wish? We can't. So there's a time we have to even transcend what is Shubha and what is Ashubha. Shmashan is Shubha or Ashubha is a big question, isn't it? People say, don't go there, that place is there, you will. But then Shiva is there at the Shmashan only, isn't it? What then is death auspicious or is death inauspicious? Again, when you transcend and understand it is a part of life, it is, you go into it is neither auspicious or inauspicious. It is a part of the circle of life. We don't have to get so frustrated or agitated, nor grieving so much about it as well. So that balance is what is there, which Krishna is talking about. Somebody who is remaining calm and peaceful at all times. Can we, if we have a brilliant project to do, which is going to lead to locus sangraha, just because a black cat passed my way, I'm going back home. Can we say that? Or milk has spilled, so I'm going to not tow, it is inauspicious. But when you come into the house, what do? First thing is you allow milk to purposely spill because it's considered auspicious when you move into the new gruha. Before gruha pravesha, first thing after a yagna, they do that. Now, it was a very interesting experience. Breaking of glass is considered auspicious or inauspicious? Anybody?
Inauspicious.
Inauspicious. Priyanka ji has shared. I had a very interesting experience. There's a Ved Bhavan in, it's a Gurukul in Pune, where the Damli ji had taken myself and my sister. And unfortunately, she broke a glass cup. And the Guruma there in that Gurukul, she said that's considered a very auspicious sign. Ma Lakshmi is prasanna. And that is, we can consider that as a sign. Now, Priyanka ji said it is inauspicious. So, what we say is for the divine, there is nothing which can bind the divine with what is auspicious and inauspicious. That we should transcend. If you look at the tathya behind why breaking of glass is considered inauspicious, it is an indication that your consciousness is scattered. When will the glass break? When consciousness is scattered only, isn't it? When you are not focused. So that time when you do any action with a scattered consciousness, what's going to happen? You are more prone to negative thoughts. You are more prone to negative forces. So that way it could become an indicator. But another way we saw one more example, which I was very surprised to hear it from a Gurukul, because that's a traditional place. And so I was a little worried, ki, is this going to create some trouble, or it will, like you see the soap operas, no? Suddenly some background music starts and sudden situation is going to manifest or what? But I was so surprised at looking at that. That was the attitude of the mother only, which I could see in that this Guru Mother. So what she talked about is Mahalakshmi Prasanna. How is it? Well, it is the same thing. How you deal with things in life. A yogi is transcended this. मेरा time खराब है नहीं मैं खराब हूँ या मैं अच्छा हूँ मेरा time खराब है या नहीं is a different aspect. How you deal with situations is important. That is what Krishna is talking about. Somebody who has transcended both. Shubha Shubha Parityagi. Bhaktiman में प्रियो न रहा. So let us continue. Samashatrau Shama, the 18th shloka. Samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkheshu samasanga vivarjitaha. And I'll look at the 19th shloka also because 18 and 19 are connected. This is it's both are completing the complementing each other. तुल्या निंदा स्तुतिर्मौनी संतुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर् भक्तिमान में प्रियो नरहा. Krishna says this. Friends and foes he treats as one. Friends and foes he treats as one. In honor or dishonor, nothing is lost nor won. in comfort or sorrow, and in heat or cold, in the opposites of nature. A balance he does hold. So, in friends or foes, treating as one, honor or dishonor, there's nothing lost or won. In the honor also or dishonor also. Comfort and sorrow, heat or cold, all these opposites of nature, he's keeping a balance. Further, Krishna goes on, he says, in praise or censure, he is poised and peaceful. Whether somebody says you are brilliant, so immediately people go into the sky because see, this man called me brilliant. I am so brilliant. And then that same person says you are a fool. And then you come crashing down from the sky. The same gravity is now more powerful against you, you feel that time. So it's something like that. In praise or censure, he's poised and peaceful. With whatever that comes naturally, he remains blissful. Whatever comes naturally. It's like a hot day and suddenly a nice cool breeze comes. Doesn't that give a beautiful feeling? Because you least expect that cool breeze to come on a hot day. So something like that, a sudden, quiet, something nice happening, whatever is coming naturally, the person is able to experience. That is what we call gratitude. And when you have gratitude, even little is there, it appears so much if you are able to understand. If gratitude is there, you can understand whatever comes naturally. One example of gratitude I saw in a young child in a school when we had gone to talk. We had talked about the avatar and we said, where have you seen the divine work in your life? Manifestation of the divine. Because whenever things are dark, that time the Krishna has promised that I will come to turn the tide. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam. This girl started speaking with tears in her eyes and she said that I saw it in my mommy. And that time the school's secretary told me ki actually, see, this girl's parents, both parents are deaf and dumb. And they are from a very economically poor background. And so her mommy suddenly came into life and changed everything. And see, this girl is calling her mommy as divine as the avatar only. Isn't this gratitude? This is such a young age. This child is able to experience the meaning of gratitude so wonderfully, and definitely, just everybody who were present, means among our trust who were present, we said, this girl is going to do very well. At such a young age, she's having such beautiful, pure gratitude coming, flowing from her, and this is something Krishna is also talking about. He says, whatever comes naturally, he remains blissful. So whatever is coming, acha, theek hai. All right. Whatever is there, I'm thankful to the divine. And Krishna goes on, when from his own people, things or home, he can detached be. A soul with such devotion and conviction is dear to me. So from his own people, from his own things or his own home, if you can be detached. Normally we are very attached to our own people, isn't it? This is my friend, my brother, my sister, my son, my daughter, all these, my, mama kaha, pandavaschaiva only happens every time. We always feel that this is mine. So Krishna is saying from your own people, from your own things or your home, if you can be detached, such a person with great conviction is dear to me. I'll come one by one to some first friends and foes. Can we really treat our friends and foes as one? How do we treat them? What is the practical meaning of this? Anybody? Friend and foe, treating them as one.
Don't be ever selective.
Don't, yes, sir?
Don't be ever selective.
Over
Even
selective.
when you want to treat anyone.
Okay, so we cannot have partiality. We cannot have partiality just because they are my friends.
Yeah.
And maybe we can even learn from our enemies also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Though they will not teach us consciously, they'll unconsciously teach us. We'll have to learn from them. That's our prerogative. But yes, because we saw the Gita begin with this same aspect. Mama kaha pandavaschaiva. Pandavas were not so bad for Dhritarashtra to think them as other children, those children. Yes, Dr. Vimalji, you're sharing something? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
another thing is if you like someone or love someone, you get attached with that person so much. And if you hate someone, then your hatred or anger comes in your mind, and that can unstable your decision, judgment.
Okay. Absolutely. That will, when you hate someone, but liking and getting attached, isn't it bad or is it good?
Liking is good, loving is
Love,
good, attaching
but
is not good.
because what do you do in attachment? You allow the wrong to prevail even in the loved one.
Pandava come between them.
Yeah. We create new Mahabharatas without knowing. Yeah, this person I tolerate everything this person does, even if it is wrong. We cannot tolerate that. We have to. Dhritarashtra should have understood the real meaning of love and given a right tight slap to Duryodhana at the right time. But no, he did not. And look what happened. Never did he imagine this would lead to his entire clan's destruction. But that happened because of attachment. So friends and foes treating us once. Yes, Sita Lakshmiji, you are sharing something? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. That friends and foes are same because we have no attachment to anyone, so that's why it seems same to us. Friends,
Yes,
what we have, what we think of our friends, is same thing as about uh, foes also.
foes also.
Since
Okay,
we don't
so
have attachment.
you can look at them with a neutral, proper view and means balanced to the truth, grounded in the truth. You can, so your friends will sometimes, friends do take us for a ride also. So if we are attached, we don't realize it. So that way, all right. Yes, Sita Lakshmiji, fine. So this is one thing. There is a nice dialogue actually in an English movie, Godfather, where he says, my father taught me." This person who is a gangster, he is telling that he taught me to keep my friends close, but keep my enemies closer because I can keep an eye on their movement. I can understand everything. Well, whatever it is, let us not think about keeping them closer. But here, Krishna is not asking us to go to the enemy, show the back, and say, please backstab me. That's not what he's doing. He's just saying, remain neutral. Remain neutral. You can learn from everywhere, become alert, understand, be grounded in the truth. And truth is one, isn't it, for everybody? Whether it is your friend or it is your foe, truth will remain the same. Tirindraji wants to add something. Yes, sir.
Yeah, in this context, very tricky question has been asked by one of the attendant in that program to our External Affairs Minister Jaishankar.
Okay.
He asked him, गीता में तो ऐसा कहा है सेम थिंग कि फ्रेंड्स एंड फोर्स को यू ट्रीट इन द सेम वे, तो
Yes.
आप कनाडा के साथ क्यों ऐसा कर रहे हो?
Okay.
तो then he told while we agree Krishna has says in this way, but it is for the individual. वैयक्तिक दृष्टि में आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जब राष्ट्र की बात आती है तो भी ऐसा नहीं हो सकता.
Okay, all right. Yes,
This answer he has given.
He's
We
given
can
this
ponder
answer.
also on this issue also.
Yes.
Therefore,
Yes,
I
yes.
am quoted. Therefore, I have
Yes.
quoted him.
Yes, ji, yes, ji. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? So here also, what do we do? Means just because we have to treat as one, can we go and show our back to the enemy and say, please backstab me? No. What he means is don't get so. Now, if we see, for example, if we get agitated with, now the example has been given, we will not go too much into the politics, but if a particular country is going against India, India will have to follow the simple principles of diplomacy and go ahead. But if India gets on the overdrive, it will again be a problem, isn't it? So balance has to be there. What we have to give, equal and opposite reaction has to come, but not more than that. If you don't treat with oneness, you get insulted personally. This is an insult to me, and then it does not work. And I think that's why national diplomacy is very different from individual outlooks. But fortunately, when you look at, there are systems in place. There it is not just one person taking a call. So that way the collective consciousness prevails, and if you have a good direction, it will go ahead that way only, where impulsive decisions don't take place. But it is about this only. When you are calm, treating everybody with the same oneness, you know what is the right thing to do. Enemies should not be spared, yes. But what is the direction? What is the course of action that you choose? That is important. For that, balance is required. So, same thing Krishna says, praise or censure. If somebody gives you the greatest award, does that mean your value will increase because you have been given an award? If that was the case, then every time you get an insult, your value will decrease. Then you will start going after people who are going to increase your value. But the question is, can somebody on the outside value you or evaluate you? Is there anybody in the world who can evaluate and say, you are unworthy or you are worthy. Yes or no?
Only we ourselves can do that.
Ourselves. Absolutely. And yes, we can. And we must recognize that Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. That's my true value. Nobody else on the outside can suddenly make me feel inferior. And just because somebody says you are so brilliant, so 99% of the time somebody praises us, you must understand they want something from you. Otherwise, they will not do that. Look at Arjuna also. Swami, he just goes, Deva Deva Jagat Pate. Suddenly he started praising Krishna. And why? He wanted the darshana. That came out afterwards. Otherwise, he said, "Oh, this is you are the Parabrahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. You are great." All this suddenly he started, which he had not done before in the previous adhyas. Because that, and Krishna was balanced. He didn't do it just because he's praised, because he wanted to give and he saw, Chalo, he is in the right direction. Now is the time to give him the darshan and raise his consciousness. Well, this we must understand. Whether we get praised or whether we get criticized, whatever comes naturally, there's a joy in experiencing the ananda about something that happens naturally. Krishna is talking about the same thing. Then the last part is where I want to look at, and we'll conclude this adhyay. It's in Krishna says, when from his own people, things, and home he can be detached. Is Krishna trying to break families now? Already Gandhari had accused him so much. So is he, giving what we can say, a method of breaking families? What do you mean by becoming detached from your own people, from your own things, from your own home? It's very difficult to all these three. When Krishna is saying become detached from them, yes, anybody, what could be the meaning here? We're becoming detached from them, all three.
Krishna never says you don't do your duty towards your family members or your friends or anybody. You have to perform, but with detachment. You should not say that I have done to my children so and so things, and therefore I want this much in return. You have to fulfill your duty without any attachment.
Without any attachment, whether or not they appreciate your work or whether they don't appreciate, isn't it? The parent must do the parent's duty. And if you see, like, since you have given the parents example, now then can you influence as a parent the outcome of the children? Because in the homes, when children grow, you are able to control the atmosphere, isn't it, in the home? But can you ensure that this atmosphere is controlled forever? In attachment, people do that, isn't it? I want good for my child, I want this for this, and so I want to do this. And then afterwards, what happens then? Every parent does it. We'll not say it is a big crime or anything, but the question is, it happens because of attachment, isn't it, Virendraji? Subconsciously or but what is the consequence? Controlling atmosphere, does it really help? Afterwards, the control it's like as much force you are keeping, that much sometimes is a stronger reaction. Yes. I know of a friend, the first thing he did after going to college was he got a tattoo done because his Ednan colored his hair because my father is too strict. I was also one of the hair coloring freaks when I was in college, but I fortunately didn't go to the extent of getting a permanent tattoo. Otherwise, it would have been troublesome because my way of thinking that time, I would have got a skull tattoo, and today I would have been wondering what do I do with that. But what we understand is, so this aspect, your own people, your own things, your own home, you have to be detached. But does that make a person cold? Does that make a person indifferent if you are detached from your own people? Yes, Dr. Vimalji? Yes?
No, actually, you love everybody all inclusively without attached yourself with the emotional attachment. Because if you get what you said, if you attach, then if you have a loss or gain, then you cannot make the right decisions then. But at the same time, you love everybody unconditionally.
Because your mind calculates so much, isn't it? Because of this attachment. Every moment you do something because I want this to happen, this to happen. But we cannot control so many things. So it is important. If you look at the example of Krishna, he was not cold. He was warm. He was warm towards everybody. He had relations with everybody. Each and every person. The depth of the relationship was different with everybody, and yet, can we say Krishna was bound in his relationships, or he was free in his relationships?
He was free in his relationship.
Absolutely, isn't it? And Gita also talks about Mukta Sangha Samachara, free union. It's like a rose without thorns. How beautiful it is. It is something like that. So the detachment is a baggage which attachment is a baggage that we carry unnecessarily. It is like Atlas holding a big globe on the neck, balancing the entire globe. All somebody has to do and is go and whisper to Atlas and say, Atlas, please go for a walk in the park. Shesha is already holding this. You're unnecessarily spending your entire life trying to hold on to the entire weight of the world. Well, it is something like that. Well, this is what we must understand. Krishna says, somebody with such devotion who is able to, because it's very difficult. One mother shared her experience. She actually told her son to get out of the house because he was doing wrong. And interestingly, the dynamics in their home was mother was strict and father was lenient. But father supported the mother, so that way there was no Kurukshetra between mother and father. Sometimes that happens with over children. So father said, "You have done this. I support you because you have done with a good intention. But this is a very strong decision." She said, "No, I will stay. I will stay with this because he had gone into very bad company and he had, we can say what we can. It was probably drugs and something like that. She didn't really describe it in detail, so I didn't even explore further. But it was such a difficult decision for her to become detached and take that. This is not a SOP that we are talking about. Parents should tell children go out of the house. But if you look at it, for a mother to take such a statement, it is so difficult to make it for her child. And everybody in the society badmouthed her, foul mouthed her, told so many things about her. They said she is a Diane and she is somebody who has destroyed her family. She is the one. And for nearly 4 months, she carried this pain inside. But she said it was the right thing. My son must understand right now. And you will not believe this child did come back after 4 months and he was thankful to his mother. He reunited and there were tears, but both were relieved. And this child said, I understood now. I was going on a very wrong path. So here what has happened? A punishment has been given, but that is not in anger. It is not in anger. It is required. She understood that. If it was anger, it would have had different consequences. But when she was detached, she understood that this is the way. Otherwise, people have difficulty in dealing with such problems. Despite best counseling, also nothing happens. So here she was connected with a higher consciousness. She knew what to do. So what we understand is we have to be detached and connect with the divine consciousness. Let that take the lead. So in this way, you will remain balanced. Praise or criticism, friends or foes, in comfort or discomfort, at all times, keeping that balance is essential. But we'll stop with the last shloka, 20th shloka. Who is dearest of all the dear ones? Who is the dearest? All these shlokas are not important compared to this shloka. If we understand who can become the dearest of Krishna, let us see. ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्ति तेव मे प्रियाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः. This person is very dear to me. Who is it? But the dearest of my devotees is he whose supreme aim in life is to love only me. The ambition, aspiration is to love the divine. That is all the aspiration of this bhakta is. And is able to see the divine everywhere. Isn't that Krishna has told Vasudevam Sarvamiti? You're able to see that. And your aspiration is to love the divine. And what does he do? For he emulates my teachings with perfect devotion. And his life is the immortal dharma's exemplification. So this person becomes the example of Sanatan Dharma. This person who has become the example of Sanatan Dharma, who is following my teachings perfectly, no matter what hardships the person may be facing. And his aspiration is to love the divine only. Such a person, Krishna is saying, is dearest. Is dearest. Now, what happens is, this is important, is a lot of times people feel bhakti means only chanting of certain mantras or bhakti means doing this particular japa and doing a particular puja or sadhana. But Krishna is now told the important aspect is not just this. He's not rejecting any of this, but he says this person is becoming a living, practical example of what principles he stands for. Means Krishna's consciousness can be understood by understanding the bhakta of Krishna. It is like how they say, if you want to get Sri Rama, connect with Hanuman first. Easiest shortcut. Hanuman prasanna to Ram ka आशीर्वाद mil jayega. It is so simple as that. Well, it is something like this. Krishna is saying, this devotee has no other aim in life but to love the divine, and so the devotee understands the need for raising his or her consciousness to be able to love the divine properly. And the way this person walks, the way this person talks, the way the person lives the life becomes the example. This person becomes the example, and such a person is very dear to me. That's what Krishna is saying. Look at Hanuman also. He got the Ashirvad of Chiranjeev only, isn't it? Completely. Why? Why was it? It was his bhakti which raised his consciousness, but he was not just having only bhakti and not doing any karma also, isn't it? And if you look at our Anjaneya, he's example of what? Bhakti, jnana or karma? Anybody?
It's more of bhakti.
Okay, Manoj says more of bhakti, but didn't he bring a big mountain also in his hand? So karma, yes? All Verendraji says all three.
All three, yes.
All three, all
But
three.
he has
Gyan.
done work. Yeah, and
Yes.
he was the most knowledgeable person.
Yes, yes.
And
Manojavam marutitulya vegam. Yes, please go on, sir. And
he has non-stop work for Rama without an expectation, with the all devotions. So he is all
yes,
three.
absolutely. So much that in the end, Rama was like, "What can I say to you? How can I say anything? Even there is no words are not enough to just express the God is feeling that for the bhakta." Well, this is exactly what we see. How when all three, like if you just look at Hanuman also, Manojavam ma rutitulya vegam jitendriyam buddhimatam varishtam vatatmajam va narayuta mukhyam. Is a leader, is a raja, and yet he is also Sri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadde. He is the Duta of Rama. He is the Dasa of the divine, Raja of the mankind, Raja of the entire race. And he is still the slave of the divine. And how is he? He is so powerful. His movements are strong like the wind, powerful and swift like the wind. Jitendriyam, he has become, with his karma also, he has conquered his indriyas. And not just that, among the buddhimans, buddhimatam varishtam, the greatest among the wise also. So this is what Krishna is saying. It's not what we can say impossible to become the dearest devotee, but the simplest way is to start practicing the teachings of Krishna, because as we start practicing, we start raising our consciousness. Krishna is not having some kind of some divine media account where he's saying I have these many followers, so he shows other gods and says I want to increase my followers. He's not saying this so that he gets more followers. He's talking about this for raising of our consciousness, so that what happens when we align with the divine? We manifest the divine will in the world, isn't it? If divine will is manifesting in our home, what is going to happen? Anybody? If the divine will manifest in our home, what will be the transformation?
We live in peace, we live in harmony.
We live in peace, we live in harmony. We'll say Vrindavan is in our house only, isn't it? Absolutely. There's no, only Leela is going on, no trap of Maya, no fights or disturbances. Well, exactly. As we raise ourselves, we become more and more free, and that spreads to others also. And probably that is the requirement. That is why Gita is still very much relevant in today's day and age, because we need this answer. Our particular era, this particular era that we belong to, definitely needs this teaching, and Gita will play an important role. That is something which is becoming more and more obvious as we watch the way of functioning. We saw now, as Virendraji shared, directly a diplomat is being asked a question from the Gita. There was a time when I don't think this was very easily possible. This was not in the general conversations, but now people are, it is something, there is a change. and the transformation is taking place, we have to align with the divine will. So let us conclude with the Shanti mantra. If anybody has any queries, you can see. And this Adhyay, if you just look at, I think, shloka 14 to 20, they are most beautiful shlokas. If you want to practically imbibe something from Krishna and become dear to Krishna, I think that's why you should read Gita. Nothing more than that. So these shlokas, 6 shlokas, will give you everything that you need from in the entire Gita. So with this, we conclude what is the Bhakti Yoga chapter. Let us see what next chapter will be, whether it's going to become more practical or Krishna is going to throw a googly and start metaphysical concepts again. We don't know. Let us see. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramayah. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. Any queries? Most welcome. Hari Om Ji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Ji. Namaste. Hari Om.
Actually, one thing I wanted to say, this
Yes, Ji.
chapter, if this can be taught to, I mean, if people read or this thing, the life can be much more easy to go through.
Yes,
People
yes.
understand this particular chapter.
Yes, yes, Ji. But the problem is we cannot just introduce directly 12th Adhyay to
No,
somebody.
not that way. I agree.
Yeah.
Because long time somebody had said Bhagavad Gita with old age. I mean, like people like me going through Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, something which is very natural, spiritual path with age we do. He says that no, youngsters should read that. The reason being, as the life goes through, as they go through life, they are able to take it in the right spirit and carry on without getting in, because so much of depression and other things we see.
Yes.
All those things, they will not mean, the number will be much less, because they understand life will be like this,
Yes,
as told by
yes.
Krishna,
Absolutely.
and they will know that surrender to Krishna, Sarvam Krishna Arpanamastu, all those things.
Yes,
They
yes,
will
yes.
carry on without too much. I really appreciate reading through. This is the third time I'm reading, but
Ji.
it kind of gets to you. Yes, that
Ji,
is the
ji.
way it should.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and I think this realization itself is so important, and like this will allow you to, when you get an opportunity, I'm sure your grandchildren or somebody else feels
I keep
interested,
talking. In fact,
they
like
will
I
receive.
told you the other day, everybody says, what does your Krishna say?
Huh?
What does your Krishna say? Now Krishna has become like a friend who lives with me. And if they ask,
Yes.
what does your Krishna say? I said, Krishna will tell you. I have reached that level, but they've
Yeah.
also started accepting. Yes,
Yes,
I have
yes.
taken it as Krishna's gift. Okay, take it. Good for you. And kind of a thing. So
Ji,
that
ji.
comes, we talk about
Yes.
it, but this
Yes,
is a
yes.
very, very beautiful chapter. I
Absolutely.
really enjoy.
Yes, madam. Yes, yes. It is actually, and it is most important. No, those people say shortest adhyay, smallest adhyay. We cannot say
No, it's a very beautiful
important.
Adhyay, very
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, ji.
Thank you
Alright.
so much
Thank you, ji. Thank
for
you, ji.
taking us through this path.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ji. No, it is my joy for me, ji. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Yes, sir. Any queries are there, or we'll conclude the session? Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaste, ji. Hari Om, ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, ji. Hari Om.
Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. If there are no queries, I'll conclude the session. Jai Shri Krishna. Hari Om.